I'm going to show you how I created this purple floral cake. I started off with red velvet cake layers, and I always have 3 cake layers for my cakes. I put in a cream cheese frosting, and I started leveling each cake layer, so to make sure that the cake is straight. Make sure also you align the cake layers on top of each other nicely, and keep stacking. For the last cake layer, always put it upside down so it looks completely flat. Then we do a layer of crumb coat, which is the thin layer of frosting we put as a first layer. You shouldn't use a lot of buttercream while making the crumb coat, so make sure that you can see the cake layer underneath. It's almost see-through, like a naked cake. I put the cake in the fridge, chill it for 20 minutes or so, and then I pile a thick layer of frosting, and that is my final layer for the decoration. First, I make sure that there are no air bubbles, everything is covered well, and then I do a 45-degree angle with my spatula, and I flatten the top of the cake before I move on to the scraper, and I hold the scraper to smooth the sides of the cake. It takes a couple of rounds to make sure that everything is completely smooth. Make sure you fill all the gaps with more buttercream and keep scraping the sides. Now we move on to the scraper, which has a design, and that is gonna create these grooves in the cake from the sides. It'll look really nice. You'll see what I mean now. So we're gonna hold it just like a normal scraper and turn the cake really slowly, and you'll see these grooves all around the cake. It will also take a couple of rounds, and you can also fill any gaps and air bubbles that appear. Here I'm not too concerned with the gaps that are showing at the bottom because I will pile on different colors of frosting. So to make the layered colored look, I'm gonna start with light purple color first, and I'm gonna smooth it around the sides of the cake. Also use the cake scraper to smoothen it out. Make sure that you don't touch the layer above it. So it has to be a thick layer of that light purple. After smoothing it, I'm also gonna give it a zigzaggy look with this zigzaggy scraper. And I just use the same technique of scraping the normal cake. And I can go over it 1 or 2 or 3 times to make sure that it's all filled properly. So as you can see, this cake design has a lot of textures to it and really different layers to it. Then I'm gonna do the dark purple under the light purple. I'm first gonna smooth it with the offset spatula. I could smooth it with a scraper, and then I'll use the zigzaggy scraper again. I just wanna highlight here how slow I go with the scraper in real time, because sometimes we do these really fast videos on social media. But in reality, you should really scrape slowly. I hold the scraper like this just to clean the board, and then I'll give it a wipe later on as well. All right, let's move on to the floral cake decorating. I have a clean towel, floral tape, scissors, and of course my flowers. I try to choose the ones that I like that are really open. They have good petals, good leaves, and yeah, they will look great on the cake together. So I take my first rose, I'm gonna give it a good wipe, and then I turn it over and twist it like this so the petals can open up a little bit more. Then I get my floral tape and turn it around the stem of the flower from the top. Floral tape is not sticky, but if you stretch it a little bit, it becomes sticky. So while you turn, keep stretching it so it can stick to the stem of the flower. Keep turning and wrapping that stem until it's completely covered, until the very tip of where I cut the flower, and a little extra as well. You can just tear it or cut it with the scissors at the end. And you want to really just seal that tip right there, because that is what's going into the cake. I'm going to do the same thing with all the flowers that I've chosen to put on the cake. Wipe them down and wrap them with floral tape. Next, I've already chosen my cake design, and I always start with the large elements of decoration first. So here, they're gonna be the largest flowers. We're gonna place them first on the cake. I try to gently hold the entire flower together so I don't tear it or break it. And once I place it where I want, I start fixing the petals, opening them up a little bit more. The next flower I want to place at an angle. So I push it in at an angle, and it's okay to remove a flower and reposition it again on your cake. Or here I just wanted to lift the back one a little bit more so it can show. Make sure you have some extra buttercream on you in case you need to cover any of the holes you're making while placing the flowers. Then I go ahead and put the smaller flowers around to hide the stems and to hide the spaces between the flowers. Here I've also chosen to add some of the leaves, and I use the same technique where I wipe them down and I wrap them with floral tape and then place them where I like on the cake. And this is it. This is what the final cake looks like.